If you're in the market to level up your mobile filmmaking by getting a gimbal, then you must be fed up with scrolling through endless YouTube reviews to find the perfect gimbal for your iPhone 14 Pro Max. Most gimbals can't hold heavy phones like this. Now, wouldn't it be good if there was a gimbal that could take the weight of a heavy smartphone and was light enough to carry around with you? Well, I think Hohem have got something special for you. Let's do this! What is going on? It's Anil. Now, a few months ago, I got the chance to test the brand new iSteady M6 gimbal from Hohem. It took a little while to get here, but when it was delivered, oh man, I knew it was something special because the packaging was unique. When I picked that box up, man, the excitement, it was just surging through my body. I only had one question in mind. Is this gimbal the perfect gimbal for the iPhone 14 Pro Max? We're gonna do a full rundown, a review of just how good this gimbal is. So you guys saw that crate, right? And inside that crate was this box, and inside this box was this case. Now this case, wow, look at it. Look at the quality of this case. This is one of the best cases I received for a gimbal, man. Look at the strap on this, man. It's really, really, really good. And when you open this case up, you are presented with the gimbal. And with most gimbals these days, they provide a tripod leg which screws in at the bottom. It's pretty standard for all gimbals that you get these days. So you get those two in the box, but you also get something else. You get this little magnetic fill light and AI sensor. We're going to talk about this a bit later because this is really cool. Now you also get a few cables in the box. You get a little charging cable. Also, two other little charging cables so you can charge your iPhone or your Android directly on the gimbal. Wow, what a great feeling gimbal. And this grip is quite unique. It's got this cross diagonal tread pattern, and when you grip it with your hand, it just feels so comfortable. 3-axis stabilization and an updated anti-shake system, which is pretty good. I mean, when I was filming with this and doing all the test footage, it was pretty bumpy and I was walking on uneven ground, and this handled it like a king. Now, what's cool about this gimbal is that it only weighs 551 grams. But don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that it feels cheap. I can tell you now that it feels solid. It took several knocks through my testing and it took it like a champ. This gimbal has one of the best designs I've seen to date. The detailing alone is amazing. You can see here all of this kind of orange rust metallic finish everywhere throughout that gimbal. It looks really, really good. You can tell that I'm in love with this gimbal. You know, it's not weird or anything, you know, it's not like I go to bed with it and, you know, hold it while I'm sleeping. It feels premium. Trust me, it feels premium. And when I took it out and about to film, man, it was a pleasure to use and people had their eyes on me. I look good filming with this thing and I just wanted to film even more. Before we move on, if you like the content today and you are feeling this gimbal, please like the video, hit subscribe. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's move on to how you can set this gimbal up. Now, setting up this gimbal and balancing it is pretty simple. First, you mount the phone into the cradle, unlock that first motor, open up the lever on the arm, slide your phone until it's balanced, tighten up the lever, unlock the main motor at the back of the handle, power on and connect the device to the Hohem Joy app. Now you're ready to configure your gimbal, update the firmware, calibrate the gimbal. And once you've done all of that, you are ready to shoot your video. Now this wouldn't be a review of the gimbal if I didn't show you what all the buttons do. The first thing you're gonna notice is this little screen here, 0.91 inch OLED display. And let me tell you, this makes all the difference. Being able to see your settings and quickly configure stuff on a screen, it just makes filming with this gimbal so much more usable. Now below that on the left, you've got your pressure sensitive joypad, and this is used to control the smartphone. You can move it in any direction. Next to that, you've got your M button. Now this will cycle through all of the different gimbal modes that you have available on the iSteady M6. You've got pan follow, pan tilt follow, all lock, POV, sports, And then you got inception mode, which is really, really cool. And I tried this out a lot and got some great shots with it. And then just below that, you got your record button. Now around that record button, you got this metallic orange zoom lever. If you're using the Hohem Joy app, you can use that lever to zoom in and out while you're recording. On your right side, you got the USB-C power port. You've got your power button, and then you've got a 1/4" port just to the side there, so you can screw on any of your accessories, mics or whatever. I love to use this as an extra handle. So what I normally do is take these tripod legs and screw it on the side, gives you extra grip and just makes filming a lot easier. Now, on the left side, you've got this multifunctional control wheel. And if you're using the Hohem Joy app, you'll be able to rack focus with this focus wheel, and it's pretty cool. And in the middle of that focus wheel, there's a button. And if you double tap on that button, it switches from focus to roll. And now when you use that wheel, you can now roll your handset from left or right. Now, triple tapping on that button will move into CCT mode, and that's where you can control the magnetic fill light. I'm gonna pop that on right there, there you go. Ooh. And we're gonna talk about the magnetic field light and the AI sensor a bit later on. Now just to the right here, you've got your time-lapse button. You can see here A and B. This is where you can set your start and finish points for your time-lapse. Right, so if I turn this gimbal around now, you can see at the back, you've got the lock for your motor at the top, and just below it, you've got your trigger. Now double pulling and triple pulling on the trigger is pretty standard on all gimbals. Double pull to recenter your phone, triple pull to spin that phone around. If you pull this trigger 4 times, it does something special, something unique, something I personally haven't seen in any other gimbal. But you're gonna have to wait. When I go through the features in the next section, we're gonna talk about that quadruple pull of the trigger. Now AI tracking isn't new to Hohem. I remember covering AI tracking in a previous gimbal video, but it looks like Hohem have just stepped it up a notch. The AI tracking sensor is now a magnetic add-on. And for those of you who are not familiar with Hohem's AI tracking, there is no app required. It's all driven by the hardware inside of this device. That means you can use this with any app you want. You can use it on any live streaming platform, Facebook, Instagram. Just think about all the possible filming scenarios you can go. We talked about live streaming, but what about dance tutorials? Or maybe you're doing cooking tutorials. Wait a minute, why don't we just go and try it out? Yeah! So we're in my kitchen right now, and we're gonna test out the AI sensor on the Hohem iSteady M6. So the first thing we need to do is activate that AI sensor, and we just do this OK symbol. You can see that the green LED is now on the sensor, and now it's gonna track me around the kitchen. You can see here, and I can walk around. We can go and make a sandwich. Look how cool it is. I'm gonna go over here. You can still see me. I'm grabbing my bread. Go over here to the fridge, grab some butter, come over here. If you want it to stop, you just hold your hand right in front, little red LED comes on, and now it stopped tracking me. And if I want to reactivate, OK symbol, and it's got me up again, and there you go. Ooh, and you'll also notice that there is a fill light inside of this device. And what's also cool about this is it's RGB. And once you're in CCT mode, you just hold down the button in the middle of that focus wheel and it will turn the light on. And now you can use that wheel to control the brightness. And another tap of that button will allow you to change the light from cool to warm. Triple tapping on that button will switch it into RGB mode, and you can control the brightness again and also change the colors all with this little focus wheel on the side. That's pretty cool, and that light is powerful. When I was filming and it was low light, this was enough to fill in the shadows. You can clearly see me, and the RGB function is really cool. You can do some really interesting videos with it. When you quadruple pull on the trigger on the iSteady M6 gimbal, it will switch into ultra wide shooting mode. Now, if you're shooting with an iPhone 13 or a 14 Pro Max and you're using the ultra wide lens, and I love to use the ultra wide lens, it's the lens I use the most. You might have noticed in some moves, you can see the motor arm in your footage. And it's so annoying because sometimes you don't notice it when you're filming out and about. You get back home, you look at the footage, oh man, 4 pulls of that trigger and it will rotate the arm so that it's in front of your handset. That way you can pull any move off and you won't see that arm. And when you're done, 4 more pulls on that trigger and it'll go back to normal mode. Wow, I love that feature. It's probably the one reason why I would buy this gimbal, just to have that feature. So let's run into performance because you got to know how this performs, right? Well, this performs pretty good. 3 hours charging time, 18 hours of static time. It's pretty good. It has a payload of 400 grams. 400 grams. Now to test this out, I tried to find the heaviest combination I could, the heaviest ND filter, heaviest case. It came up to around 400 grams and it handled it like a champ. It didn't complain once. I did some really creative moves. I was ducking, diving. This thing just said, give it to me. So I did a little filming session with this. Let's go and check out those results. Oh yes, that was pretty good. This gimbal performed really well, and the motor range is impressive. I could perform any shot with ease. You can see I'm set up in landscape mode, but as in most gimbals of this caliber, you have to manually move it into portrait mode. But if you want to film portrait really quickly and you've got it in landscape mode, you can turn that gimbal 90 degrees and you can film in portrait mode and just turn it back. But if you're filming long sessions in portrait mode, I would recommend doing that because that will be quite a lot of strain on your arm. Just power down the gimbal, change the configuration, rebalance, turn it on, and you're ready to go. If you're an advanced smartphone filmmaker, then you are definitely gonna have to take a look at this gimbal, especially if you're using a heavy pro smartphone like the iPhone 13 or iPhone 14 Pro Max. I think this gimbal is perfect for that. And the 400 gram payload, this will handle anything that you throw at it. I would say it's not the most compact gimbal that's out there, but it is definitely the most compact gimbal I've seen that can take a 400 gram payload. And with it being so light, it's still very usable. Fits in your camera bag easily, you hardly notice it's there. So I know you want to know about the price, and everything I've shown you today, that whole combo pack with the case comes to $209. Now if you want to learn a little bit more about gimbal moves, you need to check out this video right here where I'll take you through my 10 epic gimbal moves for brilliant car B-roll. And I'll see you in the next one.